in the bottom right, in the blue. His name, of course, for PSISTORM, the Danish sensation. He is MaxPax. And the bottom left, excuse me, the upper left in the red for Onsyde Gaming. He does have that Onsyde Gaming buff. He is Solar. And it is such a shame that Solar has been struggling so much in the GSL because it feels like he's turned it on. I mean, maybe it is group stage Solar where technically the round of 10 is not the group stage anymore, so Solar's not, we don't expect Solar to be as good. But I mean, ever since he lost to Maru in TSL 9 in the lower bracket, he's been on another level. Like he smashed Beyond in the semis. He 2-0'd Hero 2 weeks ago. He has just been absolutely killing it. So it's really sad to see him not win a single series in the GSL. Because of how good he has looked, it disappoints me a little bit. But you know, you can't win everywhere. Sometimes we see performance in one tournament series that predicts others. So for example, Creator was killing it in WTL last year, leading up to his, you know, peaking top 10 Korean MMR or top 10 Korean GS or Korean Grandmaster to his finals run, GSL season 1. Yeah, that incredible run of dominance that he's had for the rest of the year. In my mind, that was predicted by his run in WTL the year prior, where he was kind of the ace for, well, I mean, Maru, of course, was Maru, but he was killer for Team Envy. And in general, in fairness, though, I mean, the Creator has always been pretty good, much better in team leagues than he has in regular tournaments. But it was good to see him do well in regular. But point being, seeing Solar do well in EBT Cups and TSL and everything like that is hopefully a predictor of his return to form, at least maybe for the GSL Super Tournament. That'll happen after GSL Season 3 finishes. But for right now, MaxPax, he's not going for the build that he used to kill Dark twice. He's not going for that Adept idea. Instead, he says, well, you know what? Solar has probably been watching me do this. He probably, after he got out of his series versus Beyond, out of his series versus Beyond, he probably watched my game. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go Oracle on the way. Moondance is actually a great map for Stargate play, whether it is like a more of a turtling style or whether it is just kind of for Blinkstalker, for Oracle into Blinkstalker, that hero style, because you only have to defend one spot. Really, as these adepts, they continue to harass. They're going to get most of the lings here as long as they stay out of creep spread range, or at a queen range. So that's nice at the very least. But of course, will be forced out. But anyways, the Protoss player realistically only has to defend one attack path, that natural, so you can get away with it. Granted, you are going to be short on gas, so going full carrier is maybe not quite as affordable, but you make up for it by having that third base actually a little bit slow. 330 is almost the default timing with this style. So MaxPax taking the defensive one that he doesn't need to commit as much to defend and still getting it 350 is a little bit slow. I mean, again, yeah, it's like 15 seconds, but the pro level 15 seconds is a good long time. But this is, of course, because he is onto triple Oracle play. He's committing a lot of his money into these gas expensive harass units, these safety units that he's been able to buy. And in fairness to him, it's bought him, well, first of all, there's no support on the main base. It's going to buy him a whole hell of a lot more. 3 works go down, make it 4, make it 5. So 10 drones have died thus far in this game, and there probably will be more because that's a drone that is pretty exposed, but it looks like the Oracles don't have the energy for it. They will return back, but a third Oracle joins the fray. And because this third base is so defensible, because this third base is just not crackable, the third Oracle can be on the map. It can go out with that gourd. It can find more damage. It does not have to sit over the third base and defend it. MaxPax gonna be very happy about that one. Is there we go. We're seeing him do what I wanted to see Geralt do, and what Geralt did not do. Where when you can't get damage into a mineral line anymore, at the very least you can go. You can drop a halluc or a revelation. You can knock creep spread back, and that isn't one of the things that you want. You would think the devs wanted to see happen when they made that change to make creep a light unit. It meant something that oracles, whether it was an oracle for revelation and then adepts killing or oracles killing it by themselves, it meant something that the oracles could control a little bit more. The complaint has long been is 2 more workers fall, but an oracle gets very low. The complaint has long been that creep is too hard for the Protoss to keep back. There's no hot pickup and run easy way for Protoss players to get on the map with a scan and drop a Marines and clear creep spread like a Terran can do. Now, if you open, say, Archon drop or something, maybe that is true and you get an observer as well, but not really. Not to the level that you're looking for, and it's expensive and it slows your attack down, and it means you have to get damage done, so your drop is focusing on getting damage done instead of removing creep spread, and it's just not cost effective. But these oracles, though, they have A, gotten the damage they needed to get done, and B, they can remove that creep spread. As Lings, a couple of them come filtering onto the other side of the map. But they're not going to get too much done. Is Bailey Nest just about done? Lair just about done, as we should see a Hydroden go down pretty quickly. I think that is how Solar has been choosing to play this game. But this is not Double Forge. This is not greed upon greed upon greed from the Danish Prince. No, it's just Blink and +1, which is, yes, slower than pure Blink. But it does have aggressive options. But Solar is actually, despite the cleanup earlier, it was only a couple creep tumors. Solar's done a great job of pushing his creep spread further and further and further forward to the point where Solar has creep spread on the high ground outside of MaxPax's 4th. It's very hard for MaxPax to be on the map right now, but he will run forward and will knock down a decent amount of creep. And remember, folks, +1 is done, but it's only +1. Blink is done, or it's only +1 for the Lings. +2 is only just now getting started. And there's enough stalkers that the scant sum of Lings that are on the left side that are kind of moving around are not quite enough, as the oracles have to run. They will, so they're going to be fine. Wouldn't be enough to really kill these stalkers off before they blink high ground and sit in the choke and kill off all the Lings. But Solar is soon to hit his timing. With Hydra's on the way, with Baneling speed halfway done, Hydra range halfway done, Solar is approaching the timing that he wants to hit. His Lings now look for the run by, and MaxPax is aware of just how aggressive Solar wants to be with these run bys. So he's got a cannon in that wall, or in that choke. Just a little bit of extra DPS to kill more Lings to allow MaxPax to defend it with less units, which means he can have more units in his army, which means that his pressure, his aggression will be more effective. Little snowballs, little changes here or there to allow you to have bigger impact later on. And we do have MaxPax for his part. 5th base is on the way, but the Lings should be able to knock this down. They have +1. The Stalkers are not quite where they need to be just yet, so actually that's a kill, not even a cancel. MaxPax is a little slow there, maybe thinking there were less Lings than he was expecting, as we will see the stasis code trap go down, but immediately gets triggered off here. And now Solar, he finds himself up about 20 supply. He is going for the jugular. 40 Banelings on the way, but folks, Storm is done. And this is a scary position to attack into. Storm can blanket that choke, and the Banelings will just all die. So MaxPax heals the choke. The High Templar, they run forward. You got to be careful. Don't want to put them too far forward, because then the Banelings will pop them. And MaxPax gets closer and closer to maxing out, adding in Archons now, as he has plenty of High Templars for Storm. And he's aware of the attempts from Solar. So he's positioning his army left, positioning his army right. He wants to, oh, he's going to go for the wall, but it's just a little bit too late as here come the Banes on the left side. On the right side, Stalkers blink backwards. Those Storms on top of the army. The State Traps act as a bit of a force field, and the Storms are hitting center mass here. So many Banelings are popping. Archons as well. MaxPax retreating back to the safety of his stack defense, and still the High Templars stay alive. Still, the Archons stay alive as well, but Shield Battery Overcharge not quite doing enough. More Banelings become rolling on in, but again, the Storms are still fantastic. We need another warp in, though. From MaxPax, seems like the warp in is there, and still the 5th base stays alive. 9 probes have fallen, but from a committed push like that, 9 probes is pocket change for MaxPax. Meanwhile, he's got random little bits of warp ins on the other side of the map, forcing Queens to react, forcing the reinforcements from Solar to react, which just buys MaxPax all the more time. Buys time for more Zealots to get warped in, for more High Templar to get warped in, for more Stalkers to get warped in, for his +3 to get started. MaxPax is not out of the woods just yet, but he is reaching a clearing. They're starting to find the clear-cut paths, the Lings they run in. And again, it's a force field. These Banelings will not get connections they're looking for. Storm just dropped on them, and there they go. They don't get anything. Hydras run forward, but these Hydras have no carapace. The Stalkers can fight them pretty well as long as there are no Lings and Banes to buffer for them. But here come the Lings, the Banes once again rolling in. Again, the Storms get dropped. MaxPax has plenty of these, and he will continue to drop them more and more and more. The Banelings, though, they roll back out. They roll back in. Stalkers now, they're trapped against the wall. MaxPax getting a little bit dicey here. How are you going to be able to hold it? Oracle's running out of energy, and the Hydras, they roll forward. But Stalkers, they warp in once again on the other side of the map. 13 drones hit the deck from the Zealot warp in, and again MaxPax, he holds. Stalkers, they get put into a corner, but no one puts Stalkers in a corner, least of all Solar. So MaxPax, he takes a little damage, he does a whole lot more. His army continues to grow in its complexity. Solar kind of all in on this Hydroling Bane idea. We don't see any lurkers on the way. We don't see the next round of tech. And that really is the story of things, because MaxPax is very comfortable on 5 bases right now. He is very comfortable in this economic setup that he has. On 80, he's up 12 workers on the Zerg as the Stalkers blink forward, and that's a little bit dicey for the Banelings now. Looking for that run by into this 5th base, but there are cannons here, and they're just getting knocked right on down. The stack defense will hold, at least for the time being, as a bunch of these. No, MaxPax, that was unfortunate. The Zealots, they warp in, but they kind of die immediately. The unfortunate thing, though, is with +2, it one-shots probes, so MaxPax, he returned to his mineral line just a little bit too fast, and unfortunate. But Solar, again, I would say maxing out, but he's not. In fact, he's down about, what, 5 army supply from MaxPax, because this economy, he has been all in on this idea. He's rebuilding his drone count right now, but MaxPax got so much damage done. His Lings Banes, they come rolling into the 4th base, or excuse me, the 5th base. Storm gets dropped here. Probes continue to fall, but this buffer of stormy weather is making it so hard for anything to get on top of the probes. But MaxPax storms his own probes, and Banelings arrive. So there we go. That's the damage that Solar was looking for. MaxPax, he's going to have to reprobe, but he can build 5 probes at a time, so he's still kind of okay. Problem is, it doesn't feel like MaxPax can get active on the map right now. He's been holding defensively at home rather well. We look at resources lost, and it is pretty far in MaxPax's favor. But Solar, still, he is up that 1 base. It's 6 bases to 5, and he's not quite broken through, but he hasn't quite broken through the hold yet either. As again, more Lings, more Banes that come rolling in, and again, the Storms are pretty nice. Shield battery, that's a weird shield battery position, but it is within overcharge range, so these Archons take really no damage. And again, Solar is forced back. +3 done for MaxPax, adding shields now, because these Archons, again, they are the most important. Really, they are probably the most important unit in this army. They roll forward onto the low ground. Banelings, they make connections, but it doesn't really matter because these Archons are beefy as hell, and Banelings do not kill them off whatsoever. Banelings looking for that Temple connections, and they get them all. So now there are no High Templars in this army. Nothing to really represent threat to masses of Lings and Banes and Hydras, but the run by from MaxPax, the Zealots into this 4th base, they do force MaxPax, or they do force Solar back, which allows MaxPax to get active on the map finally for the first time in a while. Knock down so much of this creep, because Solar, he effectively had creep spread in the 5th base of MaxPax, in that core position that MaxPax is trying to defend. Having creep there just makes it so hard, but now that really Solar is forced back into his own side of the map, MaxPax can knock the creep down. MaxPax can start getting his own damage done. And how does Solar weather this storm? He's doing a good job on offense, but now on defense, it's a bit different story. The Banelings, they go in, 1 Archon pops, but that is not enough. The Hydras on the north side, they're all going down. The Hydras on the right side, they're falling as well. And in fact, Solar is falling because MaxPax has everything he needs and more in game number 1. He bends, he bends, he bends, and he bends some more. It's amazing. His back is not broken, but broken it is not. He takes game 1. In the upper left now, folks, in the blue. He's up 1 because you literally can't kill him. He's MaxPax. And the bottom right in the red, folks. He's for Onsyde Gaming. It's Solar. So game one, we saw Solar. He committed to a Lingbane Hydra all-in. Effectively, he kept expanding his base count. He was still on 80 workers, but he get to this point where he killed Geralt in a previous series, and he just says, you know, I'm gonna morph in 40 Banes. I'm gonna try to break you. It doesn't work, and then I'm going to try to go and I'm gonna build more Banes, and it's not gonna work. And I'm gonna build more, and you hit this point, especially as the Zealots that come and they get counter pressure, that kill 10 workers, where you just cannot break your opponent and you cannot afford to transition afterwards, which is just a problem. you hit this point where eventually your economy is only on 70 odd workers because, again, that Zealot run by. MaxPax has been trading better by about 5,000 resources by the time he moved on to the other side of the map, and then it's what? It was, I think, 6 Archons with +3 and +1 armor, or +1 shields. It's just, eventually you run out of stuff. Eventually, you just do not have the tech to deal with that army. So where do we go? Cosmic Sapphire, of course, is a map that we really only see in PvZ. But of course, when we talk about this, we got to talk about actually the map we're looking at or the base that we're looking at right now, or at least we were before we moved on. But that third base that Solar has, all right, we can take a look at it a little bit, where it is wide open. Yeah, you can hold this choke, but once you get into this position, this is a significant arc that a Protoss player or that a Zerg player can attack into. So it becomes kind of difficult for a Protoss player to play defensively on this map, because while there are some chokes and it is a somewhat big map, it's very hard. It is tremendously hard for the Protoss player to defend that third base. As again, we see Solar just a little more active this time. He's delaying the third base. He's going to do it by about that same 30-45 seconds that he did to Geralt on the map. And we remember how that game happened. But I want to... Okay, never mind. Probes are going bottom side. I was going to say, like, I want to... It seems like the probe's not getting pulled out. Is MaxPax doing something cheeky? But he's not. He's just going to take the linear third instead, which is also very hard to hold. So this map is very hard... Is, as I said, kind of difficult to go and... It's kind of difficult to play defensively as the Protoss, because, again, the spread positions outside of your third base, whether it's linear or triangular, are much more powerful than what we saw from than what we can see on, say, a Moondance, on a Data C, something like that has those really choked out bases. So it means that we are probably, and as we see here, it's a much quicker Twilight Council for MaxPax compared to game number 1, Delayed Forge. He needs to get more stalker pressure done on the map early. He needs to force Solar back, to force those heavy trades, so his opponent cannot get on the other side and make something happen. That is a dead Oracle. MaxPax really messing up the micro here, because that wasn't nearly as crisp as we saw in game 1. What server are we on? Okay, that makes sense. We're on West. We were on Central for game 1. So that explains the Oracle micro a little bit. It's really hard to make sure. Oracles are actually surprisingly hard to micro because they just have a lot of momentum, and you always want to keep them moving. If they stop, it takes them a while to start again. They don't corner super well. They're just these really floaty boys. So if you're sitting there on worse ping than you're used to, it does become a little bit difficult as Oracles fly in, kill a couple more workers. So despite the ping, despite that missed micro in the first one, he gets 7 drones. Not bad. Not the 10 or 15 that he got earlier, but enough. And behind this, okay. So we do see double forge behind this, but the stalkers will be able to get active earlier. It's not the 540 single Oracle opener that was all the rage right around when Valencia was happening, but it is a much quicker blink compared to the upgrades than previous setups, which should, in theory, allow MaxPax to get more aggressive, to have more map pressure, which will allow him, ideally, to be able to take the bottom left base, to be able to take this gold base that not only is a nice gold, as a couple more workers go down to those oracles, is not only a nice fancy gold base, like all the mineral income, all the advantages that you get out of it, it allows the Protoss to put much more concerted pressure on the 4th base, or the 5th base, I guess, in this game, that Solar will want to take. It allows him to push through there and have shield batteries to run back to, which is just a wonderful thing indeed. As now Lings, they're going to find a pylon, and maybe not even, the Oracle doesn't have enough energy. They're going to be able to find that, but Lings now, they find their way onto this gold base. Stalkers warp in. So they're going to be able to force it back for the moment. Blink is now done. 1-1, about halfway done, but the Stalkers need to get aggressive before then. But +1 melee, of course, done here for Solar as well, and +1 Lings always fight Stalkers. They always fight them superbly well. And the downside of this base for MaxPax, if he cannot exert the pressure that he needs, if he cannot force the entire army of Solar back home, is it keeps this horizontal or this vertical setup of bases that MaxPax has. There are so many attack options into it. There's so many entrances that Solar can use to try to get a run by in, to get banelings in, to get damage done. So MaxPax, once this pressure starts, if it ever stops, this map, it becomes very hard for MaxPax to play. But for now, his upgrades, +1 is done, +1 armor just about done, charge on the way. We will start to see him start that aggression in earnest as he knocks the creep spread down. I wouldn't even be surprised to see him drop a pylon, drop some shield batteries a little bit further forward, just for those quicker warp-ins, those quicker run-ins. As the Stalkers, they blink back slowly, steadily. Hydra's doing in the fight what they can. Lings, they're starting to disappear just a little bit, but still the Stalkers maybe not taking the best traits here. Now Lings get all on top of things. They're looking for that, and they force the Stalkers to wholesale blink backwards. It's the slow churn, the slow build, the slow burn of a fight. But at the end of the day, MaxPax will be forced back. Solar up about 30 supply. And if we look at resource lost, 13 Stalkers to 60 Lings. Yeah, sure, the mineral income the minerals lost is roughly equivalent, but it's the gas that does become a little bit more problematic. But of course, 1-1 is done. Charge very close to completion. But by the time charge is done, baneling speed, or excuse me, not even baneling speed, that's done. Banelings will be hitting the field. 32 of them, in fact. And again, remember, this is not a pure choke that you can hide behind. We do not have Storm that's completing here. MaxPax has to win with just his micro. He has to win with just his army control. As the Ling runs forward, desperately trying to trigger the Stage Trap, not able to do so. The Stalkers, they got to run back. Stage Trap gets triggered by one Ling. Great job there by Solar. He doesn't get it this first time, but he does get it the second. Banelings, they're looking for something. They will not find what they are looking for. Not with the cannon there, but here comes the Lings, here comes the Hydras, here comes the Banes that MaxPax is looking for, comes rolling on in. But the probes, they're already pulled away. Gotta be so careful. +2 is done. 14 probes hit the deck. And the fourth base is dead as well. We talked about how MaxPax had to represent and maintain threat through the bottom side of the map this entire game. And if he was not able to do so, well, it would start to become very difficult indeed. We see that right there. He had to give the position up. 14 probes go down. The economy of MaxPax, not nearly as good. Yeah, he still has the gold, but he's no probes there, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe this 2-2 timing, though. Maybe the upgrades. Maybe the upgrades are going to be enough, but a man with 12 more banelings morphing in on top of the 28 that already exist. And again, with no Storm, no force fields either. There's nothing to really keep these banelings off the army. So Lings, they get on top of a cannon. The cannon will eventually fall. The trades decently well, but this army of MaxPax is just not set up to defend nearly as well as we would like. Stalkers, now they have to blink backwards further and further and further forward, or further backwards, excuse me. 7 more probes fall. This fourth base is totally dead. MaxPax, he has a fourth base elsewhere, but it's not a gold. It's not nearly as nice. But yeah, MaxPax taps out. Not enough. And Solar ties the series up 1-1. Folks, in the upper right, in the blue, took game 1, but not quite able to make it happen on Western servers on a more open map. He's MaxPax. And the bottom left, in the red, 1-1, Solar. Okay. So game 1, we didn't see Adepts. Game 2, we haven't seen Adepts. We're on Data C map 3. I don't think we're going to see game 3 either, but it is a build that we saw MaxPax use to tremendous effect against Dark. He 2-0'd him, in fact. He hit him with, I don't know what happened in game 1. I saw the Adepts. I didn't see the end of it, but Adepts into something. Game 2, tremendous Adept pressure into Disruptor drops, into just a whole lot of stuff, into eventually a victory. Again, I don't know that we see it on Data C. Now, Data C is a map much more like Moondance, which is much more like the game 1 map, game or wow. Moondance game 1, where MaxPax was able to hold because he had these chokes, than it is like a Cosmic that has such a wide open third base, and more importantly, that gold base is so wide open as well. The last game we talked about how MaxPax was going to have to establish pressure on the map. He was going to have to push through the gold base to make sure that his gold base never got broken. Unfortunately, he was not able to quite do so. He went for a heavy upgrade style when he really needed Storm, or needed Archons, and it just did not quite work out for him well enough. So Solar was able to push the 4th base down, and yes, MaxPax made another 4th, but it just wasn't enough, and eventually MaxPax just died. On this game, though, your 3rd base, your 4th base, much easier to hold on to. You don't have that necessity of continuous pushing that MaxPax had in game number 2. So this will probably be... we don't know what Solar's going to do. We don't know what MaxPax is going to do. But if we see players play like they've been playing in the series thus far, this is probably maybe a little bit more MaxPax favored, where Cosmic is probably just very tremendously Solar favored. Just the way that... not even in the matchup, not even in, say, well, how this is how PVZ is. It's a really good Zerg map because of how MaxPax and Solar specifically have been playing this matchup. Not only in the series, but against Dark and against Geralt are good examples of how they're just looking at playing PVZ, ZVP, respectively. MaxPax, though, actually a faster 3rd base than it was on Moondance, which is kind of funny. Lings, though, they're going to scout this out, but they're going to be a little bit too late to deny the base. Maybe they're going to get the probe, not even that. Much better. Much better situation for MaxPax than he had in game number 2, where, again, his 3rd base was delayed. Because it's just a slightly longer rush distance. You don't think it would make that much of a difference, but clearly we see. It's the difference between catching the probe as it goes to take the 3rd and having the 3rd go up anyways. So eyes on the production tab. We're going to see the Blink +1 build from MaxPax. I think in this game number 3, there's a world. You don't tend to see it off double Oracle, but there's a world where this is also he drops a Templar Archives as well, and we see him go for. Oh no, that's exactly what it's going to be. Okay, so we see the Robo go down. The standard hero build, which of course has tons of deviations now, but the standard hero build doesn't get a Robo for forever. It's all about getting into as many Blink Stalkers, or +1 Blink Stalkers as possible, as quick as possible. But because we see this Robo going down, we say, okay, Charge is going to be the first item on the menu, and that's exactly what we see going down right now. And we can expect to see a Templar Archives. Wow. Apparently I got this timed out perfectly. But anyways, Templar Archives is going to go down, and you get a couple Archons, you get a lot of charge lots. And this can be very good against styles that are trying to rush straight to Hydras, which guess what? That's what Solar is doing. Baneling Nest can put a thorn in things, and Solar's building a lot of Lings right now. We're seeing the 50-50 style that Scarlet has popularized, although I guess it's 47-47. Good enough. Actually, as I say that, Solar's going for a bit of a bust here. He's got Banelings on the way. The Oracle's on the other side of the map. I don't know that MaxPax has seen this just yet. He should see the Lings right around, right now. But the Banelings there are already done, looking to bust into the natural. There's no shield battery here. Nothing to prevent the pylon from going down. The Stalker, of course, doesn't really do all that much, but the pylon is down. Lings now come flooding in. The probes are going to get pulled right into the Banelings, and 6 workers go down, make it 13. Lings getting on top of these, the sentries getting on top of everything else. Banelings in the middle, and the probes, they're all stuck. And 31 go down. The economy of MaxPax is shattered. He's been kneecapped before he can even learn to run. And now he's going to have to walk on crutches. He's going to have to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his short and miserable life because as 44 workers go down, MaxPax can do nothing in this game. His counter pressure represents really not just about anything. The Oracles are doing what they can defensively, but they have no energy anymore and none more will be made. MaxPax falls. Solar, the Bane Bust, takes game 3. In the upper right here, the perennial champion of EBT North America, his back on the line. His back against the wall. For PSISTORM, it's MaxPax. And to the bottom left now in the red. For Onsyde Gaming, Banes are his friends. It's Solar. MaxPax, on this map, okay, so Waterfall is a bit easier to take a third than I think Cosmic Sapphire is. But it's a very small map. It's actually 2 seconds longer than Moondance is, but it's still a very small map. And it is certainly one of those maps where Banelings can run in pretty easily from the left and right side of the third, unless you're able to get the wall off. So there are timings when that's not ready. But then all remains secondary because we're just going to have to see what MaxPax has in store for us. Apparently, that build that Solar did to MaxPax in game number 3 is a build that Raider did something similar to MaxPax in earlier today in EPT Europe. I didn't see it. I just see people talking about it. So I'm going to have to go back and watch that game if I ever have the time, which I probably won't, let's be real, unfortunately. But if there was a map for Adept play, which, by the way, MaxPax used to 2-0 Dark in the semifinals, this would be that map. This and Inside and Out, which, who knows, that might be map 5. Let's see, Solar probably vetoed Stargazers. So map 5 is going to be either Tropical or Inside and Out. I can see MaxPax vetoing either, honestly. Depending on how he wants to do, how he's been feeling. But Solar, he's got a good read on how this game is potentially going to go. Meanwhile, I'm sorry, no, this is not. Is this a read? Yeah, he's going for an all. He's got Lings in the main base. He's got Lings on the left side. These are going to morph into Banes. And he's just building more and more Lings. It's a Ling flood with some Banelings. And the wall is not... the pylon's in a good spot, but the wall is not anywhere close. Lings, now we're going to see them flood in, and they're going to do damage, but they're just going to try to get on top, maybe not even on the pylon, but they force the probes to get pulled, and this is maybe showing his hand a little bit too quickly. Oh, it's pylon on the wall. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what you want here, Solar. Morph those 4 Banes. There's a pylon in the wall. Oh, now this may be in MaxPax's calculus, but I'm not so sure. There we go. Now here come the Banes. The pylon gets... Okay, the pylon does get chance, but they're just Adepts. Adepts, they die. Pretty much... Well, there they go. Now they're dead. Lings come filtering on forward. A third Adept is going to try to warp in, but it's also just dead. And now here come Banes blocking off any sort of position. The Stalker, it gets surrounded and kills a Bane, but I'm not sure it really matters anymore. More and more Lings come flitting across the map. And as there is no wall, there's no damn wall. There's no damn game for MaxPax anymore. The Stalker gets warped in, but of course it's dead. We're going to see the both pylons get knocked down as well, which means no warp-ins. An Adept on the high ground. There's a Sentry, but it doesn't force the Banelings, does not prevent the Banelings, excuse me, from waddling into the mineral line where they will kill 2 probes and get a bunch more. But MaxPax, he's forced to tap out. He's not allowed to show his dazzling macro anymore. Solar says, oh, that's nice. I am just going to kill you. Solar, 3-1.